name is Emily Tan and I have a brand called 1800 Gallons. I work with upcycled and deadstock fabrics to create new denim pieces. I was really concerned with fabric wastage and seeing how much gets thrown away, even with consumers, that they might wear something a couple of times and then already be finished with it and get rid of it. So I really wanted to make use of fabric that already existed. I think there's another statistic, which is we have enough clothing already to clothe the next 7 generations of people. So there's so much fabric everywhere. And I realized that with denim and jeans, people like to wear denim that looks like it's already been worn. So they spend a lot of time in factories dyeing it and washing it and distressing it, washing it with pebbles and using drills. And so I thought we should use the real thing that people have already worn and then make the most of that, because it's a very durable fabric and so it can last a long time and be worn by lots of different people. And I like to rework it and give it new shapes and new life. So lots of my pieces are maybe different from just a pair of jeans. So I like to do tops and dresses and jackets and skirts, and then kind of deconstruct and rework them to make new and interesting pieces that really focus heavily on cutting and craftsmanship. One of the pieces I'm going to talk you through is called the Frid Top. So for this, I started by cutting up and draping with pairs of jeans. And I like to reuse the shapes and kind of find organic moments within them and then make them into design features. So I kind of traced the shape of the pocket and then I reused the crotch seam as a bust dart. So instead of artificially creating shaping around the chest, I just used what was already there, and then also using the waistband and the yoke at the back. And I really like kind of angular asymmetric pieces. So I carried on developing that, making sure that the fit was really good as well, because I want to make sure that even though I'm upcycling, I'm not compromising on fit or quality or craftsmanship. So, making sure that the armhole is the right dimensions and that's comfortable and that it's fluttering across the whole length of the torso and it hits at a nice place. And then from there, I got to my final piece. So it is made of lots of different panels and you can kind of see where all the inspiration came from. And because the panels are all quite small, I can still take them from existing pairs of jeans, but just make sure that the quality of all the seams is really nice as well. So you can see the pocket again and the crotch seam, and then on the back, I made use of the waistband and also the yoke, but using that as a hemline instead. What's also really nice about this piece is that you can kind of customize which washes you want and also the colors of the top stitch as well. So it becomes something that you almost collaborate on and becomes a really personal experience and something that hopefully you will treasure for longer because you have that relationship with it. So I think the difference between me and fast fashion, one is kind of the timings of how long everything takes. So I might spend weeks or months developing a piece and making sure that everything is perfect and that the finishing is good as it can be, and that the fit and everything works. And I might work on something like this textile and it will take me ages because I'm piecing tiny little pieces of fabric together one by one, and I just have my machines and myself, whereas fast fashion can kind of create this on a mass scale very quickly. So they have access to the best factories and the best technologies, so they could just mimic something like this. It might not even be sustainable. They might just use new pieces and then kind of put them together. And so one customer might not realize that my pieces are sustainable and they take a long time because it's just me who's making them out of genuine upcycled denim. As opposed to a fast fashion brand, it could look the same, but you don't recognize the hours of hard work because they can do things very, very quickly, not pay people correctly, and also get things out to market a lot quicker. So it won't take them months to develop a product. It might take them days or weeks, and then they have a very quick turnaround until they're able to bring it to market. Okay, that's cool. So I have a background in fashion design and I studied in London. So it was really important for me to make everything myself. So when I first started, I did all the sketches and then draping. So I like to work mainly in 3D, so draping with different shapes and also old jeans, and then taking the shapes from them and creating new patterns. Um, Pattern cutting is one of my passions, so I really like to make quite complex and weird combinations of shapes rather than using flat pattern cutting blocks. So I make those, and sometimes they're very complicated. Sometimes they have like 25 pieces in one piece of clothing, which is quite crazy. Um, and then from there, I made all the toiles, which is the first version of something, usually in cheaper fabric like calico. And I made all the prototypes, changed the fit and all the finishings that I wanted to use. And then for my first collection, I collaborated with a factory in North London. So they made all the first samples of my core collection. And now when I get orders, I mainly make them myself in my studio. Um, it is quite expensive to do pieces one by one. A lot of factories have minimums. And also there's a turnaround in terms of timing. So especially if you're a small designer that only make you two pieces, they won't prioritize you. So it might take weeks or months to get your piece back. In terms of time and also for personalization and customization, because some of my customers want to change the fit or the color or the wash, it's very easy for me to do that in-house. And so I will make pretty much all the orders now. And then if I have more complex pieces where maybe you need different machines, like buttonholers, or sometimes on the jackets, the seams can be quite thick in certain areas, then I will collaborate with machinists around London as well. Okay, so when I first started, I actually just experimented with jeans I already had in my own wardrobe. So I feel like it's quite common as you get older, you change jeans, you don't like certain styles. Like I grew up with skinny jeans and then also you change size. So I started experimenting with those, cutting them up and changing them. And then friends also shared pieces with me. And then when I actually started to develop and build my brand, my uncle who lives in Cornwall, he used to go to America every year because he worked in country music, and he would buy a pair of Levi's each year. He's about to turn 80, so he had a lot of pairs of jeans, and he actually gave me like 50 of those pairs to start reworking, and they were still in really good condition. And I think I made some of my favorite pieces from those. And then I also have lots of friends who work in the fashion industry as well at different brands. And so it's quite common that they might have leftovers on a roll that they're not going to use for the next season. And so they didn't have anywhere to go. So my friends would give those to me and I would work with them as well. So I always make sure that I wash all the pieces of denim and the jeans that I get. Um, so most of the time they're 100% cotton, so you can wash them on a really high hot wash. And when I first started, I wanted to do everything like perfectly industry standard, but I'm just one person. So I looked into the most sustainable ways, like sustainable dry cleaning and waterless methods. But they're quite expensive, and also you need to give them a lot of pieces, so it wasn't really feasible for me at that time. Maybe as I grow, I can move into them. But in terms of hygiene, I always make sure that I will wash the pieces before I start sewing with them. And the quote I really love is that the most sustainable piece is the one that's already in your wardrobe. So it basically means that you don't need to go out and buy new pieces or get rid of all the clothing that you already have. The best thing to do is make use of what you already have. And so for my brand, I think I really instilled that by making use of the denim and the jeans that I already had in my wardrobe. And even though maybe I thought I was done with them, I could rework them and change the shape or style them in different ways and then still make use of what is already there.